What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
Your boy, Jake Mother effing Bulls, baby.
and guys, championship weekend wrapped up in the books. Only two teams remain. We are going to be doing the championship recap, and we're going to do our Super Bowl predictions. And interestingly enough, we have a rematch from 3 years ago? Was it 3 years that they played the Chiefs?
4 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yes.
So, yeah, we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of surprised that the Chiefs are back in it. During the regular season, they did not seem like they were going to be able to do anything in playoffs, but never count out the Chiefs. As much as I despise them, as much as I'm biased against them, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid can just prove everyone wrong. And so it's going to be a good game. We're going to get into it, guys. A lot to talk about just between the two games. I do think that there was one game that was a hell of a lot more interesting, and we'll definitely get into it. But, guys, as always, follow us on our Instagram here. Like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on. Anything you can do to help the podcast grow, we'd greatly appreciate. Jake, you have anything to add before we get going?
Nah, I'm ready to talk about these games. I look forward to it.
All right. Let's get into it.
So the first one, we had the less entertaining one. It was actually more disappointing, if anything. Everybody except for Chiefs fans was rooting for the Ravens. I was kind of rooting for the Chiefs just because I wanted a rematch against the Chiefs if the 49ers won. And you know what? I'm getting it, but this game was very interesting.
It definitely had the potential to be a great game, first and foremost.
Yeah.
First quarter, it seemed like it was going to be a higher scoring game. But then, like you said, the Ravens shit the bed. I'll let you continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. The Ravens just... they choked. They choked. And you know what? I'm going to give a lot of credit to KC's defense because they're a good defense. This is the best defense Patrick Mahomes has had. They're a good defense. Spagnuolo has those boys playing. And they shut down the Ravens, man. I mean, the Ravens, I think they only scored a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah, they scored one touchdown.
In the fourth quarter.
Lamar had only 54 yards rushing, and honestly, the rushing wasn't that much of an impact. He made a amazing play where he caught the ball, or he passed the ball. It got batted, and he picked it up and started running for it. And I think he got like 20 yards or something like it on it. But man, like there's a lot of mistakes on the Ravens side of the ball. There was that, and it was all really on one player. Zay Flowers had the unsportsmanlike penalty, and then he fumbled in through the end zone. And really,
for a touchback.
If he didn't do that, it would have been a lot more interesting of a game.
Oh, 100%. And I think the biggest thing about Zay Flowers, too, is he was the only one who was really doing anything for the offense. I mean, even though he's the one who kind of fumbled the ball away and fumbled the game away, he's the only one who scored a touchdown also. So it's like, I think it was a lot of rookie mistakes from Zay Flowers. It's the biggest moment on like one of the biggest stages. And even though he looked great, like even the mistakes that Zay Flowers made, he looked good doing it until the fumble. I mean, he scored the touchdown, he made a huge conversion, and then the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, taunting. That was unfortunate. That was just a bad decision. That was just a dumb decision on his part.
That was a bonehead decision.
Yeah.
You're losing this entire game and you do that shit. That's unforgivable.
Yes. And the thing is, with the fumble, he was giving it his all. Like I do think that he gave an extreme amount of effort. He dove for the end zone, and L'Jarius Sneed just punched the ball out. Like that was just a good defensive play. Kansas City ends up getting the ball, and that was kind of like the storyline. Baltimore really couldn't do anything on offense, and their defense struggled mightily in the first half. Like they gave up all the points in the first half. I don't think Kansas City scored again in the second. Yeah, Kansas City scored 0 points in the second half. So Baltimore's defense definitely made their halftime adjustments, definitely came to play in the second half, but it was kind of too little too late. Like you said, it would have been a lot closer of a game if they would have scored the other touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be surprised, but we are. It's like the Kansas City team, they get worse every year, and they still find a way to make it to the fucking Super Bowl. Yep. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I mean, let's be honest. The defense is great. The offense, they held on to the ball. That was on it. They iced the game with a Marquez Valdez. I don't know. It was like a 30-yard, 20-yard reception. I was just, man, the Chiefs came to play. The Ravens didn't. And honestly, like, I wasn't like super impressed by the Chiefs. I
was impressed with them in the first half. I think the first half they definitely looked like a dominant team because they were moving the ball at will. They were stopping the Ravens offense. Second half they looked like trash, but I think that's more of like a testament to how good the Ravens defense should have been performing the entirety of the game, because that's how I expected the Ravens defense to look at the start of the game. They came out slow. They came out rusty. The Chiefs had a good game plan, but good for the Ravens to make halftime adjustments. Just too little, too late.
Yeah. And now, I think that's pretty much it with the Chiefs-Ravens game. Another Chiefs Super Bowl. So
it was an okay game. I was disappointed, not only just because like the Chiefs are in the Chargers division and I root for pretty much every team against them, but it didn't feel like an exciting game. It just never felt like it was going to be that close. I think it would have felt that way if Zay Flowers would have scored the touchdown. But, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for making it to yet another Super Bowl.
Who do you think's to blame for the Ravens' loss?
I would say Zay Flowers. I would also say Lamar Jackson. There were some questionable throws. There were some questionable decisions. He was dealing with a lot of pressure. You know what? I don't think I can pinpoint it on one person. I don't think that's fair. I think the biggest issue was Zay Flowers because, the taunting and then the fumble in the end zone. Like that obviously cost them, I think, the most. But I do put it on coaching as well. The defense, congratulations, they did make halftime adjustments, but they did not come up with a good game plan to stop them early in the game. The offense, other than the one touchdown drive in the first quarter, could not get anything going. And that was, offensive line, that was the running attack, and then that was Lamar Jackson. So it was kind of like a team effort that blew it, in my opinion. But I would say the biggest factor was Zay Flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Ravens had 2 goal line turnovers. They had the fumble from Zay and then that interception from Lamar Jackson throwing into triple coverage. First off, that's probably, Lamar shouldn't have thrown that ball. He should have been able to see that, I guess. But if you're that tight end, you can't throw your hand up when you're triple coverage.
Yeah, that was bad by Isaiah Likely. I know that he thought that he was. Isaiah Likely, don't get me wrong, I think he's a good player. He's still a very young player as well. But yeah, putting the hand up, I don't know if that kind of threw off the timing of what Lamar was seeing when he was reading the defense, but it definitely had an impact on that play, because maybe if Isaiah didn't throw up the hand, possibly maybe he would have made a different read, but still, Isaiah Likely is one of those tight ends / wide receivers. He's kind of like Kyle Pitts to me in a way. Like he's a big wide receiver. He's more agile than the typical tight end, but he usually comes down with the ball if it's 1-on-1. So that's why I threw it.
Well, congratulations, Chiefs. Ravens, back to the drawing board. To be honest, I would have liked both of these teams to lose, but you know what? Whatever. All right, let's get to the good one. Next NFC, we had the Lions facing the Niners, and boy, oh boy, boy. Oh, boy.
Let me get my thoughts out and then I'll let you say your piece because you're going to have a lot more to say about this game than me.
Let me just say this. Literally the definition of tale of two halves. Yeah. That's all I got to say for now.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was going to talk about. I mean, the Lions came out firing. The Lions came to play. They were looking unstoppable. The running attack, Jameson Williams, Jared Goff was making good plays. Sam Laporta was making good plays. Amon-Ra wasn't being utilized as much. And, Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, he looked dominant. David Montgomery was getting going. And this team just looked unstoppable. The defense was coming up big. I think they held San Francisco to 7 points in the first half? Something like that. I think it was 24-7, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, 24-7.
Yeah, and it was like a shock. It was just like, what am I watching? And then halftime rolls around. And like you said, tale of two halves. And then it was just San Francisco. I think that they kind of rode the momentum from the week prior where they finally came back after being down in the fourth quarter. And then they kind of had that mentality in the second half. It's like, we came back last week. Let's do it again. And that's what they did. Brock Purdy started making accurate reads. Christian McCaffrey was getting going. Debo was getting going. Ayuk got going. There was that one pretty lucky touchdown that Ayuk made. It could have been an interception. It bounced off the defender's head or his helmet. And then, Brandon Ayuk just made an incredible catch afterwards, which was awesome.
You know what they say. Rather be lucky than good.
Yep. I think to make it this far in the season, there is a little bit of luck that has to go in the favor 100. Of certain teams. And, one thing that I liked is the refs let them play. There weren't too many penalties this game, which was awesome to see. There were a couple, but for the most part, it was pretty clean slate. They let the teams play for the most part. And I think one of the things that kind of went the 49ers way is Josh Reynolds on the Detroit Lions. He was dropping passes, man. And it had to have been frustrating for Campbell. I mean, some questionable play calls from Campbell as well. There were a couple times he could have gone for points, but went for it on fourth down and then turned the ball over. So, maybe it would have been a little bit different score. It could have been a lot closer, but, Dan Campbell stuck to his guns, man. He went for it. That's what he's done all year round. So I still respect the guy. But there were a lot of memes circulating where it was like Dan Campbell throughout the season. And then in the NFC Championship game, it came out that he was Brandon Staley. And it made me laugh so hard because as a Chargers fan, it was just Brandon Staley's questionable decisions to go for it on fourth down. It kind of did remind me of Dan Campbell's play calling. But the 49ers came to play in the second half. The defense stepped up big time and the offense came to play. Brock Purdy, not only threw the pass, he utilized his legs. He was scrambling, which he looked great doing. It was just an incredible second half play calling and game from the San Francisco 49ers. And they're back in the Super Bowl. This is both yours and mine, number one team in the entire NFL. And I think they should be in the Super Bowl, rightfully so. So that's pretty much what I got to say. It was an incredible game, tale of two halves. Good, I'm proud of the Detroit Lions. I'm glad that they made it to a championship game again, and we'll see what they can do in 2024. Back to the drawing board, like you say.
Yeah. First half was atrocious, man. For the 49ers side of the ball, Lions look great. The defense never in the Kyle Shanahan era has the defense worried me. It's always been the offense because we've always been, led by Jimmy Garoppolo and Debo runs. And that's, a pretty decent running game. But the offense is not what worries me, at least in the playoffs, because this is a top 5 defense through the regular season. They're playing like their worst defense in the league these last 2 games. Let me say this. They played like the worst defense in the league the first half.
Yes, agreed.
The Lions were just able to impose their will on them. It was pretty ridiculous. I mean, that's what having a great O-line can do for you. The D-line wasn't able to stop anything, which in turn wasn't able, linebackers weren't able to get to their tackles, and it just trickles down. And man, it was rough. And, I was sitting there and I'm like, holy crap, this is embarrassing. Like, I couldn't even say anything. And then I was like, obviously there's still a chance. And I always say that. I'm like, there's still a chance. I doubt it, but you know what? There's still a chance. And then, boom. Oh, we're playing a football game to go to the Super Bowl. Lights turned on. Boom, boom, boom. Freaking 17 unanswered points. That freaking catch, luck, fate, whatever you want to call it, the 49ers were destined to go to the Super Bowl. To be honest, this year reminds me of the Rams going to the Super Bowl. I believe the Rams, when Matthew Stafford won it, I think they were destined to win that Super Bowl. I think the Niners are destined to go to the Super Bowl. We'll see about winning it. I think they can, but we'll talk about that later. It was just luck. The defense stepped up. Brock Purdy, man, not even the throws. What impressed me the most about him is the rushing ability. He put the game, or he put the team on his shoulders. And I don't even care. Like, all this fucking Brock Purdy hate, Brock Purdy's a game manager, Brock Purdy this, Brock Purdy that. I don't care. I don't care if he's not as good as Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if he's not as good as Josh Allen. I don't care if he's as fast as Lamar Jackson. He wins fucking games. And, he reminds me of like Drew Brees, man. Like, that's honestly, like, I think that's like the closest thing I can compare him to is Drew Brees. Drew Brees was a freaking phenomenal quarterback. I think Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback. I think this is the best Niners team that Kyle Shanahan has ever had. Man, that was I was literally like, I couldn't even talk for like an hour after this game, just because I was speechless. Like, it was one of the best games, one of the best comebacks I've ever seen. It tied the record for biggest comeback in NFC Championship history.
I will say it did make me feel a little bit better as a Chargers fan, seeing this comeback in a championship game, like when they lost to the Jags. I mean, it was still a bigger point differential against the Jags, but I feel for you Detroit fans.
Yeah.
Chargers.
And honestly, like, there was no, like, the only person I can't stand on the Detroit side of the ball is Chauncey Gardner. What's his name? Chauncey Gardner Johnson, right?
Yeah.
That's his name. Yeah, he's a douche. He freaking sealed his team's fate. I don't know if you saw him waving to the crowd when they were up by a couple scores, and it really bit him in the ass. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about this game. It was just a great game. A great second half turnaround, and the Niners are back, man. They finally won an NFC championship. So let's win a fucking Super Bowl, man.
Yeah, it's definitely time for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I cannot stand watching the Chiefs win another Super Bowl. I know you want them to win it. You've been waiting your whole life. I mean, I've been waiting my whole life to even see the Chargers in a Super Bowl. But yeah, the 49ers have been to the Super Bowl, I think, 3 separate times in our lifetime? 3 or 4?
Yeah. Since I've been alive.
Yeah, so it's time. They're due. If it's ever going to be the time within the next 5 years, this is the time. We'll see what happens after this year. But, I think most of the world is probably rooting for the 49ers, because who wants to keep watching this Chiefs build a dynasty? Because it's so annoying. It is so aggravating.
Yeah.
But, great game.
What do you think? Do you think the narrative will change if Brock Purdy leads, he actually just plays flawlessly? What if Brock Purdy plays flawlessly against this Chiefs defense, who's really good? He outduels Patrick Mahomes. Like, what do you think the narrative will be on him? Do you think it will change, or do you think it'll just be like, oh, it's same old shit?
I don't see how it doesn't change, but my only like pushback is I feel like in the social media or like the media aspect, they're gonna give more credit to Kyle Shanahan, how it was his scheme, how it was, Debo, how it was Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, give credit to all the weapons that Purdy had, even though Purdy's the one making the reads, making the good throws, all that stuff. I think that they'll give him credit, but I think they're going to try and take some of it back. And it's the dumbest freaking argument just because of where he was drafted. I don't see how it makes any sense. He's honestly proven to me, I think that he's like a top 10 quarterback easily. I think he could be entered in the conversation at top 8. Like he's gone to the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row. And, he won one this time. I mean, he didn't even play in last year's other than like he didn't play healthily last year other than like one quarter. Maybe even only a couple drives. I don't even remember how early it was that he got injured.
On the first drive.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
The first freaking drive.
Yeah, so, I do agree that he has playmakers, but you still have to be able to make the read. You still have to be able to make the throw. Put it only where your receiver can catch it. So I don't see how it doesn't change, but I think that there's an unfortunate stigma that's attached to, the last player taken, Mr. Irrelevant, whatever it may be. But you got to give credit where credit's due. And he's definitely earned the respect of the league and of the coaches and of the media. So yeah. I think that if he goes out there, plays flawlessly, he needs to be in the conversation of top tier quarterback in the NFL, and he deserves to be making big dollars.
Yeah. But luckily they don't have to pay him for 2 years.
True that.
Yeah. But all right, Dan, let's get into the nitty gritty.
Let's do it. Jake, really quick. I'm going to talk a little bit. You want to just change the header on your thing to Super Bowl picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, guys, this is probably going to be, we'll do a Super Bowl reaction video, but we may only have 2 videos coming out in the near future. We'll see like the content that we come out with. Obviously, we're going to kind of get things going for the draft. I may be doing a couple solo videos. Jake is now on the child predators list, and so he has to stay on home arrest for the next. I'm just kidding.
I'm going to be super busy for the next couple months, so I won't be able to show my face.
Yeah, in actuality, Jake's taking the next step forward in his career, so I'm really proud of him. Jake's worked really hard at what he's accomplished thus far, so Jake's going to be busy doing stuff in the real world. Of course. And I'm going to try and keep this podcast afloat as best as I can. We'll try and get some content out there. I'll try and do some of these, players that I'm looking at, kind of scouting videos, maybe getting things ready for the draft. So stay tuned for that. But guys, like Jake said, we're here for the nitty gritty. I can't believe it's already here. I feel like it hasn't even been that long since the last Super Bowl, but Super Bowl predictions, let's get into it. We got the Kansas City Chiefs going against the San Francisco 49ers.
Do you remember what your early season Super Bowl picture?
I
know you had the Bengals.
I think it was the Bengals 49ers. I think I did have the 49ers making it from the NFC, but yeah, I think it was the Bengals. Well, I know it was the Bengals from the AFC, but I'm pretty sure it was the 49ers.
I think you said Eagles.
Did I?
I'm going to have to go look back at that.
Yeah, we can go back, or if anyone who knows is watching this video, you could say what I chose. I don't remember it. It was a while ago. It's been about 4 months.
All right. Yep. Like Dane said, 49ers are facing the Chiefs. They actually open up as 2-point favorites. Are you surprised by that?
That the 49ers are favorites?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not, to be honest.
To be honest, I am. Well, I guess, you know what? I've been paying attention to too much sports media because I feel like because I've been watching it so much, I feel like they think that, Brock Purdy's not a good quarterback, right? But Vegas has its own standards of predicting games, right? So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's get into it.
All right.
First off, let's just go into picks, and then we'll talk about what each team has to do to win.
So both my heart and my head are agreeing with this pick. Usually there's maybe a little bit of a conflict of interest between what my heart wants or like who I want to win compared to who I think will win. This year, I think it's an alignment. I think that I'm not going to guarantee it because obviously I don't want to put any negative energy out there or be cocky or arrogant. But I think this is the San Francisco 49ers' best chance to win a Super Bowl. I think that they do win the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm going 49ers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going to go 49ers as well. Yeah, I'm going to go 49ers as well. Obviously, they're my team. My heart's on it. My head is telling me, oh, fuck, Patrick Mahomes. We've been here before. But the more I think about it, like we have so many players from that Super Bowl still on this team. We had a very young George Kittle, a very young Fred Warner, a very young Dre Greenlaw, a very young Debo and Nick Bosa. They were all either rookies or second-year players. Mm-hmm. We didn't have Ayuk. We didn't have Christian McCaffrey. We didn't have Trent Williams. We definitely didn't have Brock Purdy. Otherwise, we would have won that game. And, you know, that was Kyle Shanahan's third year as the 49ers coach. I think he's done nothing but improve and build this team from the ground up, literally. I don't care what anybody, like he came in here into this organization and built this. Him and John Lynch have built this team from the ground up. This team was atrocious in 2016, like absolutely pitiful. Even 2017 and 2018, they were pitiful. They won like a combined 6 games. So yeah, they've done so much for this team, for this organization. I'm going to just say this. If they play like they did against the Lions, they are not winning this game. They have to, from start to finish, play 200%. I don't want to hear no fucking 100%. 200%. They cannot be slow because if they get in a deficit to this Chiefs defense, I mean, I'm not going to say Brock Purdy can't come back. I've seen it twice now. It's just the Lions defense and the Chiefs defense, completely different things.
Yep, agreed.
And Kyle Shanahan cannot be timid in this game. He knows this is his best chance to win. He knows this is his best team that he has had. Do not go away from running the ball, you know, and let Brock Purdy throw it out, spread him out, whatever. He can do it. He can do it all. Man. And the best part is like everyone's healthy. Everyone is healthy for this team right now. There's 0 injuries. I mean, well, you know, further injuries like our, you know, Hufanga unfortunately got injured. I think it was like week 9, but yeah, man, I think the key for the 49ers to win this game is just play hard from the very beginning.
Yeah, for me, the key to success in this game is very similar to what you said. You know, they got to come out firing. They cannot get in an early deficit to the Kansas City Chiefs because, like you said, the Chiefs defense is night and day difference than the Detroit Lions. I mean, the Detroit Lions defense, they did play solid defense for a half, but then it kind of came to fruition like what we expected the defense to be like. But the Kansas City Chiefs, on the other hand, their defense is stout through and through. Like it is the best defense that Patrick Mahomes has had. So they got to come out firing. They got to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. They got to keep him contained. They cannot let him scramble because even though Patrick Mahomes has a dad bod, you know, he's still able to scramble and like do things with his legs that other quarterbacks can't. I think if they can lock down Travis Kelce, like when Travis Kelce isn't playing well, they don't have that many elite receivers. I mean, you also got to account for Isaiah Pacheco, so they can't be allowing the running game like they did against Detroit, where Isaiah Pacheco can run wild, because if they do that, then they're going to be able to bleed out the clock.
Yeah.
So I do think that this is going to be a back and forth affair. I mean, the last time they played, it was a great game. Unfortunately, when the Kansas City Chiefs way, I think it's going to be another really close game. But I do think that the 49ers are going to be able to pull this one out. And even if they are behind, we've seen it the last two games that now Kyle Shanahan's 2-30. And that 2-30, even though it's not statistically a good record, it's completely relevant because those two wins have come from this season alone. So it's happened the last two games. And so I'm not as concerned if they are down, but they have to at least keep it manageable. They cannot be down like 17 points. So I think the keys to success, defense has to play well, offense has to play well. Sounds pretty straightforward, but it's not as simple as it always seems. You just gotta be ready. They got to come out firing. They have to have the energy. They cannot come out lackluster. And I think that they'll put this game away. I do trust Brock Purdy. I do trust the offense. Like you said, they didn't have Christian McCaffrey. You guys didn't have Trent Williams. You didn't have Brock Purdy. Everyone else was super young. So I think this team's going to be fired up for the opportunity to get revenge on the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think it's a good revenge story. So, yeah, I'm going 49ers.
Even further, that D-line has to stop the run. And they have to contain. They cannot let Pacheco. I'm not trying to remember. Like, Pacheco's he's not like an outside zone guy, right? Like, he kind of like up the middle more, right? Or is he kind of?
I think they utilize both, because I mean, Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, I think he runs faster than he is quick. Like, he looks faster than he actually is, but he's got burst. And so I think that, he can go, ground and pound up the middle, in between the tackles, and then he can go outside zone. I think that he's capable of doing both, but I think the bread and butter is kind of going in between the tackles and guards.
You think this is low scoring or high scoring?
I think it's like middle of the pack. I don't think that it's going to be like in the 30s. I also don't think that it's going to be like 14 points or less. I would say it's probably going to be like a 21-17 game. I think that's going to be a good amount of scoring and a good amount of defense. And I'm going to go 21-17 49ers.
I think for the Chiefs, I think their ideal game is like a 10-17 game, to be honest. Because they're going to want to slow down that. I agree with you. I think they're going to try to slow it down, run the ball, because they've have 2 weeks of tape showing that they can run the ball. And I think they're just going to try to get a lead and run the ball and run the clock out. But if the 49ers are going to win this game, they're going to score a lot of points. So I'm going to give you two predictions. I think if the Chiefs win, knock on wood, it's going to be a 17-10 game. If the Niners win, I think they score at least 30 points.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think they score 30 points. I'm going to say 30-24.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with my 21-17. I'll do a second one as well. If it's not 21-17, I'm going to go 24-21. I think they win by at least a field goal. So obviously in one of them I have them winning by 4, the other one I have them winning by 3. But I think that it's going to be right around that mark. I'm sorry, Jake, I don't see them making it to 30. If they do make it to 30, that's freaking incredible. This defense of the Kansas City Chiefs is not like the defense that it was before. And so I think that it's hard to score the 30 points against them. If they do, then obviously the 49ers are moving the ball.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I saw this stat, like, they have like multiple games where they held opponents to under 17, I think it was. And they've won all of them, right? This year that they've done that. And so I think that's their key to success. But I'm picking the 49ers. So I think to beat this Chiefs team, you have to score a lot of points. I don't think the Niners win in a close one. So I think it's going to be I think they're just going to go out on all cylinders. I mean, what else are you going to lose? So yeah. Yep. That's my prediction. 34. No, or what did I say? 30-26. if that. I'm more confident in the 30.
Like
I said 30-26, but I'm more confident in the 30 than I am in the 26. And then 17-10 if it's the Chiefs.
Okay. Well, guys, there you have it. There are our final predictions for the 2023/2024 season. You know, good luck to Kansas City Chiefs fans. As much as I hate the team, you know,
Psych.
as much as I hate the team, they're top tier. They've run the AFC West for a reason. They're a good team. And congratulations to the 49ers making it back to the Super Bowl. Good luck to the 49ers fans. It should be a great game. It's always fun being able to watch the Super Bowl. It's like one of my favorite times of the year. It's pretty much its own holiday at this point. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. So guys, if you haven't already, follow us on our Instagram here, like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. Turn notifications on. Help us out. We'd greatly appreciate it. Jake, you have anything to add before we get out of here?
Yep. Just thanks for listening. Go Niners. I can't handle another Super Bowl loss. I might end it all.
Oh my God.
Nah, I'm obviously not going to do that, but I really want them to win. I think this is years past, like 2019. I was not expecting them to go to the Super Bowl. Like, I wasn't even expecting them to be that good. I thought they could be a playoff team back in 2019 just because of all the pieces they had. But to go to the Super Bowl as a young team like that, it was kind of crazy. But let's be honest, the biggest weakness back then was Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
But our quarterback's not a weakness anymore. It's just the defense right now. And I can't even say they're a weakness. They're just playing bad.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if this defense actually plays good, like they're gonna be they could potentially shut down the Chiefs. Like, if they play to their standards, they can shut down the Chiefs. I 100% believe that. So we'll see. But let's go Niners. Thanks for listening, and as always, peace.